This news update is brought to you by...
Say hello to Shanta. Shanta is an entertainer, but she also loves to be entertained, which is why she has Flow TV brought to her through Flow's 100% fiber to the home network. It's great for busy Shanta because she can control the time she watches her favorite shows, play back from the start in case she missed it, or even record with cloud video recording. And with her Flow services bundle, enjoys much more for much less. Visit any Flow retail outlet, call 1-800-804-2994 or visit discoverflow.co to find out more. One-of-a-kind connection. This is how we flow.
This is the Barbados Today afternoon news update for Thursday, March 10th. Thank you for joining us. I am Mary-Claire Williams. The government's bailout for British American Insurance Company will spike the island's already high debt, but Senator Darcy Boyce says it could not have been avoided. Boyce was speaking last night during the debate in the Upper House on the British American Insurance Company Limited preservation of investments. He insisted that government has in fact averted a financial and economic crisis and warned that the affected policyholders would not have been the only ones to suffer.
The question is, if we did not increase the debt to GDP, if we do not accept the increase of the debt service, what would we have done? Would we have let the country go to pieces because of that? Would we have let all those 15,000 Barbados policyholders go through the edges, as we say? What pain and suffering would that have caused? And is not that pain and suffering more than what we will do for the extra debt service? What it costs us in extra debt service?
Boyce added that the problems at the troubled insurance company are a reminder that the private sector makes mistakes. He cautioned that poor investment decisions will have severe consequences and governments will have no choice but to intervene and pick up the pieces.
Poor investment decisions, or investment decisions that may have looked good in a buoyant market, sometimes turn foul. And you know, we keep on forgetting that what goes up comes down. Now, of course, the stock market went up very nice in the States, went up very nicely last year, and it has been coming down almost relentlessly this year. It went up almost to the same levels as we had in 2007, same in China. So, but the point I think in a sense is that when you are functioning as a trustee, you've got to be particularly careful in the kind of investments that you make. Because whenever these things happen, whenever these mistakes are made, and a bailout has to be done, it is the government of the country, the government of the day, that has to go through the pain of finding the resources for a bailout.
Barbados' premier public health care institution is facing a massive funding cut. Government is proposing to slash the budget of the Queen Elizabeth Hospital by $9.1 million for the next fiscal year, which begins on April 1st. This was one of the proposals included in the 2016-2017 estimates of revenue and expenditure tabled in Parliament on Tuesday by Finance Minister Chris Sinclair. Government wants to cut the QEH budget from $155.3 million to $146.2 million this year. The Ministry of Health is in line for an overall cut in its budget of about $3.4 million to just over $332.7 million for the upcoming year. That is, if the estimates are approved by Parliament. A breakdown of the figures by Barbados Today showed that overall hospital services would face an $8 million reduction. Also in line for budget cuts is the care for the elderly. The figures are down from $36.1 million for this year to $35.8 million for 2016-2017. However, primary health care services will be allocated $29.3 million. That's up by $1 million over the previous year. It appears that negotiations between the Barbados Workers Union and the Barbados Water Authority have broken down, and the BWU's Executive Council is scheduled to meet on Friday to discuss what the union says is the BWA management's decision not to honor an agreement to pay outstanding monies to employees dating back to 2006. The breakdown in talks came 2 months after the union's General Secretary, Tony Moore, reported that negotiations were going well. But an email circulated last evening by the Senior Assistant General Secretary, Orlando Gabby Scott, warned of possible action following Friday's meeting. The fallout apparently stemmed from talks between both parties on Monday, where they failed to find a resolution. Moore told Barbados Today she will not comment on the matter until after Friday's meeting. In sports, West Indies women's captain Stephanie Taylor says she is worried about her side's lack of consistency heading into the 2020 World Cup, which begins next week in India. The Caribbean side defeated South Africa women 2-1 in the one-day international series, but lost the T20 series by the same margin after going down by 4 runs in the third game at Newlands on Wednesday. The Windies women failed to chase down a mediocre target of 120 after they restricted the hosts to 119 for 3 of 20 overs. Deandra Doughton and opener Hayley Matthews both got 24, while Taylor chipped in with 21. But they were the only 3 of 4 players in double figures as West Indies women collapsed from a position of 87 for 3 in the 15th over.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Secure your future, be financially strong. Since 1983, we have been there for you. A smart range of products, great tax benefits. We're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union, Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union, Cooperative Credit Union. Humble beginnings to smart loans, smart savings. Save smart and borrow smarter, that's the move for me. Stability, prosperity, we're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union, Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union, Cooperative Credit Union.
Get your paper, get your paper. Only $2.25, $2.20. Who? For what? That's the Bear Stale News. I don't read about that on Barbados Today since last night. That can't only care do. $2.20. Who?
Barbados Today. News you can trust.
In news from the region, in Trinidad, there is debate on what action should be taken against a pet Rottweiler that mauled a baby to death earlier this week. There have been calls for the animal to be put to sleep, but media reports say it remains on the compound where the incident occurred. We get more in this report from TV6 News.
The baby's uncle, Suhail, was at the scene following the incident. He described what took place based on the account given by Malik's mother, Vishma Bisoon.
Understand his mommy was coming out with the pram, and the dog, we see a Rottweiler, attacked the pram with she, and she tried to chase off the dog bite her in the foot too, and the dog bite the child.
Malik, who was bitten on the head, was rushed to the Shoguanas Health Center, but he couldn't be saved.
This is very sad and touching to everybody. Everybody very, very sad. But things that happen, eh? Things that happen in life, things that happen.
The Dangerous Dogs Act 2014 doesn't classify Rottweilers as Class A, the most dangerous type of dogs. The dogs on that list, the Pit Bull Terrier, Fila Brasileiro, and Japanese Tosa, must be properly muzzled and placed on a leash while out in public. At this time, the circumstances leading up to the deadly attack on baby Malik are still unclear. However, what is clear is that regardless of its cause, there is a profound and overwhelming sense of loss.
And finally, prosecutors in Brazil are filing charges against the former president Lula da Silva in a money laundering investigation. Da Silva denies any wrongdoing and claims the charges against him are politically motivated. The accusations are part of a corruption investigation at the state oil company Petrobras. We get more in this BBC report.
The popular former president of Brazil, once credited with lifting millions of people out of poverty, but who now finds himself involved in a major corruption investigation. State prosecutors are filing money laundering charges against Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, but those charges still have to be formally accepted by a judge for the case to proceed. It's after he was detained for questioning last week. The accusation is that he and his wife failed to declare ownership of a luxury penthouse apartment in an exclusive seafront resort. Officially, the apartment is owned by a construction company, OAS, itself under investigation for allegedly paying bribes to politicians and officials in return for big contracts. Lula da Silva says he never owned the flat and he denies any wrongdoing. The accusations are part of a major corruption investigation into the state-run oil company Petrobras. It's alleged that contracts there were awarded to companies in return for cash or bribes. Prosecutors allege that Lula da Silva, president for 8 years, benefited from the scheme, something which he denies. Politically, this could be difficult for Dilma Rousseff, the current president and his successor as leader of the Workers' Party. Lula da Silva's supporters say the charges are politically motivated, an attempt, they say, to smear his reputation, after rumours that he may run for office again in 2018.
That's the news. Remember, there's more on our website, www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook. We're on Izumi Media in bus terminals and Screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also tune in to Channel 99 on Flow TV or Mix 96.9 FM for more news and sports. I am Marie Claire Williams. Have a good afternoon.